Good evening. Excuse me. My name is Sanai, and I manage the design and operations section within traffic division of MCDOT. Um, intersection spot improvement program. Um, I am responsible for the countywide we program projects for improvement in terms of traffic operation and also safety. This particular project, intersection of Maryland 191, 188, or Bradley at Wilson, is our current project. We have completed design, and we have actually advanced to construction. We are preparing. The contractor is on board. We have had a pre-con meeting with the contractor. There are some drawings which we are currently coordinating with our consultant and the contractor.
Dan, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you maybe turn your volume down just a little bit? I think it might be up a little loud.
I apologize.
It sounds a little muffled now.
Okay. Is that better? Larry, is that still too loud?
It's still a little muffled. I don't know.
I'm not sure what's going on. Usually people tell me I'm speaking too low, too soft.
Yeah, it's just that it's echoing a little bit.
Oh, it is? I'm not. My apologies. Okay, I'll try to speak softer. Again, this project, basically the project aims to improve safety and operation at the intersection of 191 and 188. There was a study done by a joint, I think it was a joint team, joint participation between DOT, Montgomery County DOT, and state several years back. And it was recommended as a result of that study that dedicated left-turn lanes be added at this intersection to improve both safety and traffic operation. So what I do have is a PowerPoint. It's just a few, there are just a few slides, and I'm going to kind of quickly go through the slides, and if there are any questions, we will try to address the question. So currently, what you see on this first slide is what's out there. Let's see. I apologize. I'm trying to get this thing to work and move. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. So again, the TME committee also, after that study, recommended adding dedicated left-turn lane on all four legs of this intersection. These are just volumes and service levels before and after. And this is basically this slide shows Wilson Lane 188 after the improvements. Basically, it shows pavement markings. It shows the left-turn lane on both legs here. There are sidewalks within the limits of the project. And we will see that there are also drainage structures. This slide shows pavement markings along Bradley Boulevard. Again, left-hand lanes on both legs, and sidewalks with ADA ramps and more drainage structures. This slide shows it shows the stormwater management system, which has we worked with SHA. We got their approval to install basically to control stormwater and better manage the drainage within the limits of the project. Within the limits of the project, where there is excavation, there's going to be landscaping, which is going to include ornamental vegetation and also evergreen trees and shrubs. This shows Bradley Boulevard looking north. This is the existing condition. Bradley Boulevard looking north, proposed condition. Again, as you can see, there is dedicated left-hand lane. Bradley Boulevard looking south, existing condition. Same leg, proposed condition. This is Wilson looking east, existing condition. And this is Wilson looking east, proposed condition. Again, the primary objective of this project is to add dedicated left-turn lanes on all four legs. And there's going to be some, as I indicated, there's going to be sidewalk within the limits of the project. There are some utility relocations. We had to relocate PEPCO utility poles. We also had to relocate some fire hydrants. And for the drainage structures, we ended up getting some temporary and permanent right-of-way easement. The temporary is just for the construction. The permanent easement is for drainage structures. So basically, in a nutshell, again, this kind of describes the scope of the project. As I indicated, the project, we have completed design, we have all of the permits, we have SHA's approval, and we have all of DOT's Department of Permitting Services. We have the permits for stormwater management, erosion, sediment control. All of those permits are in place. We have SHA's access permit. And so, again, as I indicated, we already had our pre-construction meeting with the contractor. There's going to be two contractors. We have our own right-of-way contractor, DNF. We also have our signal contractor, Baldwin. So it's going to be a joint, partnership between those two contractors. They're going to coordinate because they're going to come in at different times. DNF is going to come in first, do some, basically they're going to start out with the drainage. The project, the drainage structures is going to be construction of drainage structures is probably going to be the most challenging part of the project, because some of the structures are going to be 17, maybe 18 feet deep. The contractor is working to minimize construction time, and as part of that, they're going to order all of this structures in precast. Basically, that is we are hoping, right now, construction time is between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. on a daily basis. If we can get approval from state, we are hoping if we can get approval maybe to extend that. I don't know. Hopefully, we can reduce construction time. Again, it's going to be challenging because this is going to be the project is going to be constructed basically under traffic, because it's going to be adjacent all of the structures, the excavation and installation of the drainage structures. All of that is going to be done adjacent to traffic. So maintenance of traffic is also going to be challenging. So we are aware of the challenges this project presents. This is by far the largest project we have done under the intersection improvement program, and it took us a while to get here, as you can imagine, and we are estimating construction timeline between 6 months and maybe 8 months. But we are going to do everything. The contractors are aware, and we have their commitment to do everything they can to minimize the impact on the community. And so with that, if there are any questions, Lori, do we take questions live, or do we take questions and maybe address them later?
We can take comments, and then if you want to do questions, or we can just mix it up and take both,
Lori?
Yes, can you hear me? Dan, can you not hear me? Can anybody hear me? Okay, Dan, can you not hear me? Okay, well, let's go through the question. Because apparently everybody can hear me. Okay, so Inez Vega would like to know if you could review the timeline related to the intersection improvement as opposed to the bike lane, sidewalk, and shared use path. So basically the bike lane, shared use path, and sidewalk is part of a larger capital improvement project, and that, unfortunately, I apologize, was not funded this year or this past cycle. I am not familiar, unfortunately, enough with the program to be able to advise you as to when it may be funded, but I can certainly speak. You're welcome to email me. I'll put my email in the chat, and I will speak with my sidewalk section chief, Robert Gonzalez, in the morning and find out and let everybody know. Here is my email. Give me 1 sec. And let's go ahead and hear from.
There's a question. Everyone is down. Thank you. Is so Lori,
yes,
are you
we have some residents who
are you still online?
I'm sorry?
Um,
All right, let's hear from Richard Floyd. Richard, are you find him? He's
okay.
here with us today.
I don't know, let's see. Oh, I apologize. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear me, Dan?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Great.
So what happened? Did everybody hear the presentation or no?
Yeah, they could hear. Well, I think it's echoing because you're in the office with your laptop. So I just think there's an echo to it. Well, actually, Bill Corman's office is here and they inquired about it. And I think what we'll do is if you have a script about that went with the presentation, if we can post that online for the people that couldn't understand.
Okay, that would be fine. So, I'm not sure. Looks like I see 49 participants, and I saw a question asking to show traffic before and after or something like that, I think. Yes, we can share this, we can post it online and we can share all of this information online.
Okay, great. We have a comment from Mohit Rastogi.
Okay. Can you please?
Well, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So I live on 5616 Wilson Lane. It's a red roof house on your map. It's on the eastern side of Wilson Lane. I saw on your construction drawings that some of my property will be taken up to adjust the left turn at the left turn lane. Wanted to see if there's any way we could find out exactly the demarcation. I have I want to, just generally get a sense of what's going to be affected. I also have a large tree that's near the line. And is there any way when you guys come out that the surveyor or whatever can show where you guys are going to be affecting and how much it's going to affect my property?
Sure, we can share that, and based on design right now, as I mentioned, there's going to be temporary construction easement along Bradley Boulevard. I think on the west side there's going to be the south. There's going to be on the southwest corner. There's going to be a permanent easement. Again, it's going to be easement basically for drainage structure. But the temporary easement along Wilson and Blvd in other locations is basically for construction of a driveway. And it's just easement, and it's temporary during construction. We can confirm that, and we can show exactly what the limits of the easement, both permanent and temporary, are.
All right, next we have Robert Thomas.
Well, hi. I'm right across the street from the first question, 5617 Wilson Lane. And my question is in regards to the bus stop that is directly to the right of my home. There's a very small sidewalk from the bus stop that leads to my house. Then it ends. And I take the bus a lot, and I watch a lot of people take the bus, elderly, strollers. And when you get off that bus, there is no way to get to the intersection. The slope on that grade to walk to Bradley is too treacherous to walk, and there's no sidewalk going to Aberdeen. And so with all of this going on, if the issue is safety, I don't understand why there isn't. I don't know if there's another bus stop in Montgomery County that doesn't have a crosswalk or a sidewalk to a crosswalk. And so I'd like to have that addressed and hear your response to the lack of safety improvement in regards to the sidewalk on that side of the street.
So regarding sidewalk and the bus stop, I appreciate the comment, and yes, this particular project focuses only on the intersection itself. There is another project, Montgomery County DOT, another division, the Division of Transportation Engineering, is actually working proactively as we speak with SHA. And there's going to be there is a project which has been funded. My understanding is at least for a study and then maybe design. I don't have information as far as the timeline for that project, but yes, county is aware, and county is working again with SHA through that project to install sidewalks, including the stretch that you have pointed out.
Okay, next we have William Negley.
Hi, thanks very much. I think Dan and Lori, frankly, you both somewhat spoken to this, but I think that my core question here is just, in the past, I think we were all sitting here, whatever it is, 2.5 years ago, for the big, broad public commentary on the full Bradley Boulevard project, which certainly heavily discussed this. And Dan, I think, in fact, some of the early slides that you just showed were certainly online. They're connected to the Bradley Boulevard improvement project. So the question I have is a more comprehensive understanding of what's going on with this broader project. In my view, this is sort of a piece of this being done. The question that I would have is, where does it end, right? Does it tie into what is future planned? Lori, you saying out loud, hey, that wasn't funded, is the first time I've heard or certainly seen anybody saying, sort of in any type of official capacity, this hasn't been funded. You go online, it certainly still talks about going on. So really, as I emailed, 10 days ago, hey, just what is the broader project? And if this is a part of it, where does it end? And then what is the understanding of the balance of it?
So, Mr. Negley, this particular project, I can speak for this project because traffic division, our division, my team is responsible for this project. Again, this project focuses only on the intersection, but yes, this project, the layout of this project is designed to accommodate the ultimate improvements along Bradley and Wilson, including installation of sidewalk and all that. Again, I don't have the timeline. I don't know. I don't have that information. All I know is that project is ongoing right now with SHA. As far as the schedule, when it will be completed, when it will go to construction, I don't have that information, but I would be happy. I work with Mary. Mary actually also works with DTE, Division of Transportation Engineering. That division is working directly with SHA on that project.
Well, let me just, if I may, request, Lori, if you would be willing to organize I don't know if it'd be public comment or not, but just here 3 years later, when at least I was expecting this coming down the pipe, some type of more official update on that broader project, Lori, that would certainly be appreciated.
Absolutely. And let me just clarify that it is still an active project. It has not been canceled or suspended by any means whatsoever. It's just that it wasn't additionally funded, basically. So it still is in play. And I'm sure your council member can explain the funding process better because they, they're the ones that fund the CIP projects or allot the amounts, I guess. So, but I can certainly, like I said, I'll speak with my manager in the morning, Sidewalk Section Chief Robert Gonzalez. I'll talk with him and I'll shoot you an email, William, and Robert Thomas as well. I'll shoot you both emails about both the Wilson and the Bradley project. Okay? Great. All right. Thanks, William. Okay, next up we have, let me see if he's here. Yes, Don Cummings.
Yes, I'd just like to know when construction is actually going to start in the intersection.
It's supposed to start, our schedule is this fall. We don't have the exact date. It's going to be this fall. It's going to follow. Right now, the contractors are actually working with our consultant to take additional borings, basically. And the reason for that being these structures, as I indicated, are going to be so deep. There is a lot of underground utility, and we already have a number of borings that were taken earlier, but they want additional boring to make sure everything is precise, because when they order these structures precast, they have to have exact information. So they haven't started the boring yet. They are right now they are coordinating to do that first. That's going to take, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks, 3 weeks or so, and construction will follow after that. The two contractors, they are working on multiple projects for DOT, for the county. This is going to be the next large project that will go to construction. So basically, they have it on the radar. There's going to be borings, and the actual digging will start this fall. And before we actually get there, there's going to be a flyer distributed within the community.
Okay, great. Next, we have a question from Maria Mosconi. Maria, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hi, thank you, Lori.
Great.
Thank you so much. I live on Maiden Lane 5811, and I want to echo my neighbor that raised the concern about the bus stop. I have submitted a concern about this bus stop and a need for a sidewalk or a crosswalk more than 5 years ago. And I'm deeply disappointed that this is not taken into account as part of this intersection project. By enlarging and creating turning lanes, you're going to make the situation for pedestrians much worse than it was before. It's not only like the fact that it's a slip over there, there's no way to get out of there in rain, in snow, and the construction project itself, but also having more lanes, are going to make this situation much worse. So again, I don't understand how in more than 5 years, this is still not considered. It's raised by other neighbors here. and we are given an answer that this is part of a different project. I mean, this is not comprehensive if the ultimate goal of this project is to improve safety. You cannot take into account only cars and not pedestrians. I saw a car running over a bike at this intersection 2 days ago, literally. And pedestrians are not considering the design of this. I just find this absolutely unbelievable. I'm sorry to be so direct, but I'm frustrated that I have submitted this through the right channels more than 5 years ago, prior to this meeting. And the answers that we get are honestly not ideal. So I'll pause here to hear so that my neighbors can also hear your response.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your concern. I am sorry that you are experiencing the safety concerns that you are living with. I do know, again, that's part of this other project. Please keep in mind that both of these facilities, Bradley and Wilson, are state roads. And it's their right of way. And my understanding is there are challenges in way of right of way, limited right of way, and utilities and drainage structures. All of that has to be worked out through SHA because it's their road. But I do know, all I know is that that project, the county is working with SHA. It's been funded, at least again, through design. I'm sorry I don't have the schedule for that. But within the limits of the intersection, basically about 300 feet in either direction from the center of the intersection, just about 300 feet basically is the limits of this project. And within the limits of this project, the project is working to improve both operation and safety. It's providing sidewalk, ADA ramps, crosswalks, markings, signing. The design, all of the work so far shows that these measures will help improve safety within the intersection. Now, outside the limits of this project, I'm sorry, I can't speak for that because it's going to be handled through other projects.
Okay. I would like to mention that the council member's office, Matt Higgins is here, Delegate Mark Corman's office is here, Senator Sarah Love's office, and the Maryland Highway, State Highway Administration, excuse me, are here as well. So I don't know if I've made you all co-hosts. If you want to chime in on any of this, please feel free. And if I haven't made you a co-host, please shoot me a message and I will do so. Okay, so next we will hear from Judith Rumerman.
Hi, thank you. I am not Judith. My concern is what's the effect on cross traffic through that intersection while all the construction is going on?
And thank you for that question. It's going to be, we have discussed it, and we have even discussed maybe reaching out to state to see if they would allow maybe detouring some of the traffic. They're not going to allow that. We don't think they will allow anything other than construction within 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's going to be, some of it may have to be flagging operation. And basically, the contractors are going to work to maintain traffic. Traffic will be maintained throughout construction, but it's going to be adjacent to, deep excavations. We are aware of that. And so at times, it may be limited to flagging operation, maybe one way, one direction at a time. But contractors are aware, and every effort obviously will be made to minimize the impact as much as possible.
Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, next we have a question from Robert Thomas.
Okay, so I'm my neighbor with her emotional comment made me think of something else to suggest. And thank you for making those comments for about 5 years ago. I've lived here for 30 years, and I've been asking about this for as long as I've lived here. And part of it is that I work from home most days, and my line of sight to that bus stop allows me to see how impossible it is for people getting off that bus. And I walk my dog every day, and I go up to that sidewalk, and I have to play dodge the cars to get to the other side of the street to walk the dog, to get to the crosswalk. And, that point about making it larger is only going to put 2 sets of cars. So now you're going to have to get by 3 cars to cross the street. And I would encourage anybody that has any jurisdiction over this project to come to that bus stop and try to just cross the street between 7 and 10 and 4 and 6:30 or 7. Just try it. Just try to do it. And I think you'll have a great understanding of why this is lacking common sense at the highest possible level. You cannot talk about this in a safety component without addressing that, because it just falls on deaf ears, and it's just it's garbage. It's garbage. You're actually making it much more dangerous for pedestrians. And if, God forbid, somebody happens to be in a wheelchair or something, or you've got some nanny with a person in a stroller, I mean, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for trouble.
Thank you for your comment. I appreciate the frustration, the concern, and all I can say is we will share that with our management. And I don't know if it will change anything in terms of the scope of the project that we are talking about now, because again, this project is focusing only on the intersection. But in terms of the bus stop and lack of sidewalk, and then having to cross that road, I understand that concern. I'm not going to say if there will be anything done about that at this point or not. I don't know. It's not included in this project. But we will share your comments with our management.
Okay, next we have a Laura Rollier. Okay, we'll come back to Laura. How about William Negley?
I just sort of had to chime in, and Dan, let me sort of apologize, because I know we're piling on something that ultimately doesn't fall underneath you, but I just want to sort of correct one thing in the timeline of everybody here, just to really emphasize how bad this is. The Bradley Boulevard Improvement Project documents with full design accessible on the Montgomery County website are dated May 2011. So way more than 5 or 10 years this project has been talked about, design has been funded, explored, worked, and tree studies done for well over a decade. So it's just silliness at this point that, you know, the website still says construction is set to start in 2025, but, you know, Lori, respectfully, yeah, no, it hasn't been killed for 15 years, but, you know, no dirt has been dug in 15 years. So I think to the stakeholders on the ground, I would respectfully submit either kill it or do it, right? I mean, 15 or 20 years of exploring something is just silly when it was supposed to be started finally this year, next year.
I understand completely, William, and you make a very valid point. Absolutely. You know, I would say that you're going to want to contact your local council member, local delegates, and advocate. The more people that advocate, you know, I'm sure that's, you know, that's how things get done, really. And they'll be able to answer your questions. And I, again, will email you in the morning with my findings after speaking with my management. So, but I do want to point out that this is a traffic project and it will increase traffic safety. And so in and of itself, this is a very valid project and will increase safety. It may not be the safety that you're looking for at this exact moment, but everything helps. All right, let's see if Laura Royer is ready.
Hello, this is Robert Conlon. I'm Laura Royer's husband. We're here together.
Hi.
Just speaking up about the intersection bus stop, Bradley Wilson. It's on Wilson. Robert Thomas and a woman whose name I don't remember just spoke so passionately about this. I just want to put a fine point on this because it's in the public record. If the county and the state don't address the sidewalk issue and the intersection enhancement issue together, they will have blood on their hands. That intersection is dangerous right now, and that bus stop with no crossing in any direction is dangerous and has been for the 25 years I've used it. It needs to be addressed comprehensively and together.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, next we'll hear from Larry Heller.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I just would like to know if you could provide the latest slides, the latest information, the latest timelines for the Bradley Wilson intersection construction project, as well as the Bradley Boulevard improvement program, when this is going to actually begin. If this could be put on some public website for everybody to see and possibly react to it. As just another comment, as I understand it now, the overall Bradley Boulevard improvement program, it has not been funded, so we should not expect to see anything done on this for fiscal year 2025. Is that correct?
Are you asking about the intersection project? The intersection improvement project is already funded. This project is going to construction this fall. But the Bradley improvement, this other project, that project is not part of this project. And I can't speak for that project. All I know is, in fact, Lori may have more information on that because she is helping Transportation Engineering Division, which is actively working with state on that project. That project, I don't have the schedule. I can't speak to that. This project is going to construction this fall. Again, right now we are actually in construction phase because we have completed design, and we have had our pre-construction meeting. The contractors are on board, and there's going to be some boring taken first before the actual excavation starts.
Okay, what I'd like to know is if the slides, this information can be put on a public website that everyone can access, or if you could just post it in the chat where we could go so we could get this information.
So I think maybe we can work with our IT staff to.
We'll get this the video and the presentation slides up on the website tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, next we have Kathy Bender.
Hi, thank you very much for hosting this session. It's been very informative. I have a couple of questions. One is this sort of follows up, I think. I'm having a little trouble hearing, so sorry if you already said this, but I'm interested in understanding better what the safety concerns are that this project is addressing. And also, in light of the inevitable disruption of traffic at that intersection, is the county going to take some precautions to prevent all the traffic that's being diverted, having people speeding on the smaller streets that are not really set up for that nearby? Thank you.
So within the limits of the project, the improvements, obviously, a traffic operation will improve. And as far as traffic safety, the addition of sidewalks and ramps, crosswalks, and signage, basically it's designed to improve conditions over current conditions. And so I understand the concern that's being expressed because you are adding lanes on each leg. There's going to be more traffic. The traffic volume, that's not going to change the traffic volume. And in terms of speed, so I heard comments on people are going to speed up because the road is widening. So obviously that there is design speed for the intersection. I'm not gonna argue that there won't be any motorists going faster through the intersection. I can't possibly make that argument. I'm thinking maybe through enforcement, whatever safe design speed is designated for the intersection, that it's enforced.
Okay, let's see. I don't have any more hands, but let's just scroll through the chat really quick. Ruth Greenberg had a question about the signal poles. Let's see if Ruth is still. Ruth, would you like to unmute and
Yes, hi.
hi.
Yes, hello everyone. I would like to wonder if it's being addressed. I noticed from the plan, it looks like the signal poles are big industrial looking poles. Why aren't they going to be blending in with the environment? I mean, it looks like it's going to be much more urban looking. Why don't they paint the poles a color to blend in with the surround? It's a neighborhood with a lot of trees. And then you have this, from that plan, it looked like humongous signal poles going across the road. Thank you.
I'm not a signal designer, but obviously, yes, the signals are going to be the poles and the mast arms are going to be larger because the road is going to be wider. And in terms of the color of the infrastructure, all I can say is we will take that and present it to our management to see if that can be considered.
Yeah, if it's not a safety issue, it doesn't sound like it would cost that much to make sure design-wise it blends in with the environment.
No, it's not. It's not a safety, and I appreciate that. But yes, so I don't know. I can speak for them because there shouldn't be any codes or anything like that. It's not going to be like a design standard, which if you change might impact structurally impact the poles. In this case, it's just the color. Again, we will present that, and I hear you. Maybe it can be considered.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
By the way, what color would you recommend if the fact would be implemented?
I would say, green or brown, something that blends in with the foliage and the trees.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. I don't have any more questions. Does anybody else have any more questions? Maria Masconi actually just asked via the chat, have you considered moving the bus stop to Wilson and Aberdeen, put a crosswalk there and a pedestrian sign crossing? I honestly, you would have to contact the transit division and submit a request for that. I don't think any of us here are here from the transit division tonight, so I do apologize. Okay, we have another question from Kathy. What are the traffic concerns that the left-hand turn lanes are designed to address? So what was the initial problem that prompted this project?
So this again came about through a study which was completed a few years back. Again, it was Transportation Engineering Division and SHA jointly did a study, a comprehensive study for Bradley and also Wilson, including the intersection. And so as a result of that study, it was recommended that designated left-turn lanes be added on all four legs. So then that came to us, we designed, and now we are trying to take it to construction. So in terms of operation, so data shows that operation will improve. In terms of safety, it doesn't impact negatively, indeed, even in terms of traffic safety within the limits of the construction. We believe that it actually improves safety. But I don't have all of the background prior to taking over the project when it was basically given to us to design and take to construction. So there was a master plan. It was also included within the master plan of many years ago, but going back to 1990, calling for additional left-turn lanes at this intersection. So overall, it's a very old project, and the concept has been in play for many years. Then it was finally given to us about 4, maybe 5 years ago, and then we started the design about 3 years ago, and now it's going to construction. overall, it's going to have a positive, the study shows overall it will it will have a positive impact in terms of both obviously traffic operation and also safety.
Okay, her next question is, are there going to be left turn arrows added to the light?
I believe so. These are dedicated, and so it's not going to be just permissive. It's going to be exclusive. Yes.
Okay, and is Montgomery County going to take some proactive steps to reduce the likelihood that during construction, more people are going to speed through the nearby side streets to avoid the intersection?
That is something, Lori, we will have to consider for a response later.
Okay, great. All right, we do have some questions. Next, we'll hear from Alex Cinnamon.
Hi, thanks for doing this session. I have a couple questions. The first, I saw in the public notice the construction window 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Maybe I misinterpreted what Dan was saying, but that's a firm window, and you're not trying to extend that window earlier or later. Is that correct?
So right now, both for Montgomery County and SHA, that's the standard timeline. Now that said, the contractors are aware, and they are hoping to be authorized to extend that, because as you can imagine, it takes them a while to set up traffic control devices, and then at the end of the day, basically they have to stop at I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock, 2:15 the latest, to take down all of that. So it really gives them only maybe 4, maybe 5 solid hours a day, and they think having such a short a daily window will only add to overall construction time. So on the other hand, if they are somehow allowed to extend that, then obviously it will help reduce construction time. So it's kind of like, you know, there are projects. I work for a state, and I work for the Federal Highway Administration, where I was actually responsible for a program called Accelerated Construction Technology Transfer, where states used to do huge, massive, multi-billion-dollar projects going through cities and downtowns, and they would shut it down basically for a short period of time, only to speed up construction and get it done, basically get in, get out, and stay out. In this case, unfortunately, with only 4, maybe 5 hours a day, we all know it's just going to take longer. But right now, we're just I know that was a long answer to your question, but the standard timeline, daily schedule is 9 to 3.
Sure. So Dan, while that makes sense, I imagine the 9 to 3 was chosen also to be mindful of school busing and commuters, in transit as well. So will those voices be represented if the contractors are trying to expand that window? Who's going to speak for the people that are worried about children getting to school safely and on time on their school buses, and commuters getting taking transit during those rush hours, particularly on the morning side, but also on the afternoon side?
Correct. It's mainly the standard daily schedule of 9 to 3 countywide, and also for state of Maryland, is in consideration of basically rush hour traffic in the morning and again in the evening.
Got it. So I had 2 other questions, and they're pretty brief. The first one is sidewalks from the public document that was sent in the mail. It talks about new sidewalks, and on the images it shows some new sidewalks. How it looks like that are they're happening both on Bradley and Wilson. How far will those new sidewalks extend? And are those images representative?
Yeah, there's going to be sidewalk within the limits of the intersection where there is right now and now kind of like a pathway basically is going to be replaced with well here let me see if I can share my screen again. It shows um, all right, so let's see. Yeah, so this is Bradley Boulevard, so there's going to be some sidewalk as you can see, and ramps, and as far as Wilson, same thing. There's going to be some sidewalk, and so what this the project is designed basically to accommodate the ultimate sidewalk project, which is basically to or expected to come down hopefully at some point. So so this project, this intersection typical section will accommodate the ultimate future project sidewalk project if and when it's actually implemented.
I see. So this image right here, that slide number 5, is showing the limits of that newly constructed sidewalk. Is that correct?
Yeah. So this is only within the limits of this project. Yeah.
Understood. And my final question has to do with, and it builds on points that other residents have made around pedestrian safety. A problematic intersection that that can prove to be dangerous, and now you're adding multiple lanes of traffic across. What's going to be done to protect pedestrians and other non-vehicle users of these throughways here, and particularly not just in terms of signals but other mechanisms for safety?
So and I understand that. So basically, the best way is the controlled flow, both for the vehicular and pedestrian, as you can see, with high visibility crosswalks and markings and signage. For example, here it's the crosswalk basically provides for crossing here rather than going at an angle, and so the project has been designed to minimize the crossing distance as much as possible. But I do understand, I do hear concerns over, you are widening the road overall. So, there is some, that point could be argued. But right now, the way it has been designed, with the inclusion of the sidewalks and the ramps and the crosswalks and the signage, the thinking is that it will be a safe intersection.
Got it. So there'll still be like restricted, no turn on red restrictions, and you mentioned there'd be some arrow signals as well.
Correct. I don't have all of the details on the signals, but we can, if there are specific questions, absolutely, we can address those and provide that information later. But yes, typically, when you have left-hand lanes, it's dedicated and it's controlled.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dan, while you have the slides up, We have a question in the chat. Could you please point out the 300-foot boundary from the center of the intersection?
Sure. Basically, this one, the next slide may actually be like a better slide to show that. So basically, if I the storage here and the taper, there's like about 100-foot taper and about a 200-foot storage. And so on each leg, basically it goes back about 300 feet. It's not exactly 300 feet, but about 300 feet in either direction, basically. And so this is for Bradley Wilson, same thing. It goes about 300. The extended project is about 300 feet this way, and about 300, maybe 350 feet this way.
Okay, and is the center line on Bradley Boulevard going to be in the same location after this work is complete?
That is a great question. The center line, I have to double check before I answer that.
Okay, great. So we'll reach out tomorrow. I will, I'll make a note and
the center line obviously beyond the intersection limits of the project is the same. And I want to say we are maintaining the same center line and basically widening on either side to provide for the left turn lane. But I like to double check before I say definitely.
Okay, great. Next we'll hear from Mohit Rastogi.
Thank you. I just wanted to follow up. Again, I got a better sense of the easement on this last slide you took on my house in Wilson Lane. It appears that the new, I guess I'm not sure if I'm using the correct term, the easement is going to be up against a relatively mature tree I have in my front yard. And I want to make sure that they will take into account protecting that mature tree. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be part of the project. It's going to be saved, but I want to make sure that the contractors will take precautions to try to prevent damage to that mature tree.
Yeah, the easement is only for construction or reconstruction of the existing driveways. So the temporary easement is only for that purpose and should not impact in any trees. And sure, we will communicate that concern to our contractor to make sure that's the case.
Okay, next we'll hear from Richard Hoy.
Thank you. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
I think that this is a project that needs to be reconsidered and really start to question the basic assumptions and data in this project. This is widening the road, is widening the road. You are not making it safer for pedestrians. You're exposing them to more time within the roadway in crossing. You're widening the road at this junction, and that is increasing the design speed. There's just no way around that. When the traffic light is green, in the green phase, you have a much wider road space that is encouraging a higher speed of car travel. I think I question the need for this under under updated modern present day travel data, and the design I think is really a disappointing design. I would like to see an approach that considers in a data-driven way another way of handling this junction for pedestrian safety as well as for mobility of car traffic. So I'm just not at all satisfied with the quality of the work or its timeliness in this time period of current travel behavior and current emphasis on Vision Zero. I'd like to see a design that a consideration, evaluation, a thorough evaluation of a design that would include roundabouts rather than widening the road, and also would treat the Wilson Lane entrance as it curves sharply. I would like to see Wilson go into the other street on the left of this image in a more of a right angle to slow down that element of car traffic entering into the Wilson and Bradley junction. So I just think this, this ought to be put on pause. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Does anyone have any other questions or comments? They would like us to point out where the bus stop is. Do you have the bus stop on any of the slides, Dan?
I'm not sure. I think let me, maybe this one shows the current condition. No, it doesn't. Oh, I think the existing Wilson looking east, maybe. I don't know. Let me look.
Okay, we have a question from Maria Mosconi.
Looking east.
I'm happy to guide you through the bus stop. It's Wilson Lane looking west.
Looking west, okay. Now this is Wilson Lane looking west. Oh, I'm sorry, this is east.
No, that's not.
This one is Wilson. This is proposed.
It's the other one. It's where you have the wood fence.
The wood fence, okay, hold on.
Right there.
This one here.
It's over there. The bus stop is in the middle of the street. Before getting to the corner, there is no crosswalk. There is no sidewalk to get you to any of the corners. And now you're going to have to cross 3 lanes instead of 2. Much safer.
Well, I would say you can submit a request certainly to the Traffic Engineering and Operations Division to see if that crosswalk could be evaluated and improved in any way. I can put their email in the chat for everyone if you'd like to make a request to the Traffic Division.
That's a very good point, Lori.
Okay, and I will evaluate the bus stop in the morning since I'll be speaking with Mr. Gonzalez regarding the 2 other projects and sidewalks. I will speak with him also and take a closer look at the location of the bus stop to see if there's anything we can do at the sidewalk program. Unfortunately, the sidewalk program is a minor projects program only, so the reason that the Bradley and the Wilson are in facility planning and the design is because it cannot be completed with a minor project due to right-of-way acquisition, utility relocations, and rainwater drainage issues. So, yes, Maria Mosconi mentioned that she submitted a sidewalk request 5 years ago, and that is true, Maria. All requests come through the sidewalk program. They start with our program. We perform the on-site field evaluation, and that determines whether it can be completed with a minor project by our program, or if it needs to be, if it's capital improvement program, a major project needs to be generated. So despite the fact that you submitted it 5 years ago, the sidewalk program could not complete sidewalk installation on Wilson in the missing links, as well as Bradley, due to those issues, right-of-way acquisition, utilities, and rainwater drainage. So I do apologize. All right, we do have some more questions. Robert Thomas.
Well, I have a stream of conscious thinking. I mean, if one, it's kind of surprising. You got all these stakeholders with all these concerns, but by the presenter's own calendar, the thing is supposed to start in the fall, which we're in, and so it's really hard to see how these things are going to be vetted kind of properly if construction's going to start in the fall. However, if it does, one of the things that really drives the traffic crazy on this road, and again, I've lived here 30 years, is when they pick up the trash and the recycling. And so one of the things you could do if it goes forward is pick up the trash and recycling on the weekend, because that already backs up Wilson and Bradley forever. And to my neighbors on the cut through traffic, I mean, welcome to our world. But you're going to get it. There's no way around people not jumping on those side streets. It's going to be it's really going to be an issue. So I don't know if the people that are managing this can deal with that, but it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. I'm wondering how I'm going to get in and out of my driveway, much less the cut through traffic. I mean, if they're doing all kinds of construction, how am I going to get out and go anywhere? It's going to be that much of a challenge. So, Lori, I'll be looking for you tomorrow morning. I'll bring you coffee.
Well, unfortunately, I won't be in the office in the morning, but thank you. I would certainly enjoy that if I were.
No, I thought you were going to come to the site. I heard you say you were coming out.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm going to speak with my manager about the Bradley and Wilson project.
I invite you to come look at it. I invite anyone to come get at that bus stop and cross the street, and then no one will be dancing around that question anymore.
Oh, I don't question it. I believe you. All right, we do have another question from Mohit Rastogi.
Lori, I'm just letting you know, I sent you in the chat a picture and I highlighted where the bus stop is. I took a screenshot of the drawing and just put a highlight on there. So I just want to let you know where it is relative to the intersection project.
Great, thank you. Okay, do we have any other questions or comments? Okay, well, Dan, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I just want to take a moment to thank all of the participants. Appreciate your time. I appreciate all of the comments. Obviously, there are some concerns, especially regarding safety at the bus stop. And I think Lori, you had a great point. Maybe that can be shared with traffic division, traffic operations. Maybe there can be a study done at that location to see what the issue is and how it might be improved.
Okay, great. We will, like I said, post the video online, and we'll get a script up as well as the presentation slides for everyone. That'll be online, I believe, by 5 p.m. tomorrow. And if that's it, I guess everyone have a wonderful evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Dan.